I was 16, and me and my friends, Evan and Jake, wanted to rent a hotel for the night since it was spring break. We got to the hotel and checked in. I had a really funky smell, but we still stayed there. Once we got to our room, it was about 3 p.m., so we decided to go swimming. The pool was downstairs, departed from the hotel. Once we got to the entrance, there was a man, at least 6'3", in all black with a hood covering his face. Facing us, I panicked a little, but not out loud. We got into the pool and swam for a few hours until we saw that man again, all black, sitting on a chair by the pool. I cleared my throat. "Can I help you, sir?" I asked. No response. I was starting to get a little paranoid. I put my face in the water, and at the bottom of the pool was another figure that was all black. I screamed like a little girl and ran for the door. I looked back and saw nothing. Not the guy in the chair or the guy in the pool. My friends thought I was seeing things, but I saw what I saw as clear as water. I didn't feel like swimming anymore, so I decided to get dinner at a nearby restaurant. I got a table for me and my friends to sit at, and there, I saw again the man in all black on the other side of the dining room, and he was staring at me. I'd had enough. I went over there and then lost track of him as he took off. After, we decided this trip had gone too far and we should leave tomorrow morning. My friends didn't like that idea. Once it was 10:30, my friends and I dozed off, and I woke up to some noises. I saw a shadow figure at the end of my bed and calmed myself and told myself that was a hat I put there before I went to sleep. I went to bed and got woken up again 30 minutes later by more noises. I was getting thirsty, so I reached under the bed and tried to grab the water bottle, but I grabbed something, and I was totally shocked by what it was. It was my hat. I haven't ever been this scared in my life, and I couldn't help but to scream at the top of my lungs when I heard a voice next to me say, "You're a dead man." I jumped out of bed and realized there was two men in black right there. I tried to fight them, but it was no use once they grabbed me and dragged me out of the room. I tried to scream, but that guy was covering my mouth. I passed out and woke up in a stretcher. It turned out those guys knifed me while I was passed out, and someone found them in the act. The doctor said no one could catch them. To this day, I always have a nightlight, but I guess I'm still scared of the dark. I'm a 19-year-old female, and at the time all this happened, I was 17. Just to give some long and necessary background, I was dating a guy named Kyle. We shared a small group of friends, and we were all pretty close to each other. We did almost everything together. They were pretty chill and trustworthy, or so I thought. Anyways, one day 2 weeks before my junior year started, I was hanging out with the group at one of their houses, and I just so happened to fall asleep while being there. I woke up probably 5 minutes later to one of my friends grabbing at me. When the friend touching me noticed I woke up, he immediately stopped, and I ran into the bathroom crying. A few minutes passed by, and I left the bathroom. I pulled one of my friends aside and told him what happened. His response shocked me. He said he saw what happened, but he didn't stop it. I don't know why he didn't, and I guess I'll never know. But that same friend told me not to tell Kyle because he didn't want any friendships ruined. Well, I obviously told him after the practice, and he was understandably pissed off. We'd come to the agreement that we'd no longer be friends with them anymore. A few days went by, still avoiding the group, and we received a lot of messages from them that were shocking and hurtful. "You're being overdramatic. It's my fault that it happened. Just act like nothing ever happened. He didn't really do anything to you," and so on. I was pretty destroyed reading all those messages coming from my so-called friends, but for some stupid reason, we all became friends again when school started. I know what you're thinking. Why would I go back to that group of friends? I guess my only lame excuse is that I hated confrontation, and I wanted things to go back to normal. I wanted to feel normal again. Obviously, it wasn't the best idea taking back those friends, especially the one who grabbed me. It started to really affect me mentally. I became super depressed and developed really bad trust issues with everyone, including Kyle. I constantly had panic attacks throughout the day. I was failing all my classes too because I rarely showed up to school. The school attendants and staff had no idea what was wrong with me. I would refuse to tell them or my family, but one day came around and I couldn't hold it in anymore. I told my family, and at first they were supportive, but then it quickly changed. I don't want to go into details, but for a long time I felt so alone. Later on, around November 2017, my boyfriend did something behind my back with another girl. He didn't cheat on me, but I don't want to get into details about what he did. All I know is I mentally got worse from it. I started doing things that made me happy but were horrible to other people. I wanted someone to feel the pain that I'd felt for so long. Now fast forward to around February 2018. That's the night when it happened. I was having trouble sleeping and it was getting late. I also had school the next morning, so I was pretty frustrated. Finally, around 1 a.m., I started to doze off. I found myself awake probably 10 to 15 minutes later. I noticed a tall, dark figure standing across the room in my closet. At first, I thought it was my older brother messing with me because he's done stuff like that before. But as I tried to say his name, I couldn't. That's when I realized I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. I was paralyzed. As I was staring at that figure in my closet, wondering what is happening, the figure started moving closer to me. Then I noticed it kind of looked like it was floating towards me. I can feel myself panicking, but I couldn't move or say anything. So when the tall dark figure reached the side of my bed, I kid you not, it bent over and grabbed my nose. I couldn't breathe through my nose or my mouth. I'm just staring at the dark figure. Its face was so close to mine, but I couldn't make any features out. I felt my heart trying to break out of my chest, my lungs hurting like hell because I couldn't breathe. I legitimately thought I was going to die, but suddenly, I quickly sat up, gasping for air, looking around my room for the figure, but it wasn't there anymore. I was scared. I was so scared. I didn't know what just happened. I thought I had the most realistic nightmare of my life. I mean, I guess that kinda is what happened. The next morning, when my boyfriend picked me up for school, I told him about the realistic nightmare. He said, "That's creepy," and that was that. A few weeks later, I brought it up to my older brother, and that's when he told me I actually had sleep paralysis. I had no clue what that was, but after hearing his definition of it and doing some research, I was really freaked out. I read online that stress, anxiety, depression, and some other things can cause it. I realized that everything that had happened to me sort of recently played a big part in that episode. I would be lying if I said I didn't have trouble sleeping for a while after that, but I eventually got over it. But every now and then, I do get a little nervous to sleep. And if you're wondering if I still hang out with those friends, that time is long gone.